This is yeah, yeah, the table. That is great, man. That's
Hello, good afternoon. Good morning. Can you hear us?
Hello, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so like, can you hear us, please?
Yes, I can hear you from here.
I can hear you too, but my name is recording as Ayobami. I don't know why.
It's because you are using my link. I sent my personal to you this
We can
morning.
hear them.
So you have to reintroduce yourself.
Okay.
I didn't mute you.
Can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you from here. I've been talking. I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh,
Yeah, we can hear you.
hear you now.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, that's great.
I can hear you here. So what do I do? Do I just reintroduce myself or
Yes, you have to reintroduce yourself. Don't worry, because normally I think there is a personalized link that was sent to you too, but maybe you didn't receive it. So by the time you want to, just tell everybody that this is your name. You are the first presenter. Just go ahead. Don't worry.
All right. I am Adako Amechi. I am the first presenter. Okay. I'll be looking at you can hear me, right?
You can hold on. You can hold on. Don't worry. By the time they call you, you will do so. Don't worry.
All right. So is that Chinenye from Federal University?
Yes. Yes, sir. Adako Chinenye Amechi. That's my full name.
Yeah. Adako Chinenye Amechi. Don't worry. You just simply adopt first name tag. Yeah. We are all friends and colleagues. You know. All right. I want to welcome everybody into this very creative everyday panel, which is log the decline of lines. So it's quite interesting the way that the panel has been phrased. I think it is part of what is becoming very interesting in cultural studies, which is the everyday in popular life and in popular culture. So we have three presenters on this panel. Two are physically present, and the third, who happens to be the first on our list, is doing so virtually. It would have been so wonderful to have all of us take part physically, but then this is a technology space. So it's fine to at least have two here, and the third one presenting virtually so that we can test technology. All right, so this panel is organized by Ayobami Onanuga, who is an independent researcher, and Sibitayo Odekade, who is from Adele Federal University of Education. It's promising to be quite interesting, and we're here to for just 1 hour, 30 minutes. So, and since we have presenters, there will be a lot of time to discuss the papers. Right. So, without wasting too much time, I want to call on the first presenter, and that is Adaku, to go ahead with the presentation. But let me suggest that as the event will collect the question, just write down the question, then we can have a very long session of discussion. The feedback will show by the question for us. Build up the papers as well as get ideas from what we're doing. So, Chinaya, are you ready?
Yes, sir. I sent my slides. I don't know if it could be.
Okay, you said your slide.
Yes, sir.
What's the title?
I don't. You said
What's the title of the slide?
of the slide. I wrote Amechi's slide.
Let me box what you need the title of the presentation.
The title of the presentation.
Let me box your
Let me burst your bubble.
Let me burst your bubble. Okay.
Examining face. Yes.
Good. I should have told you that. Good. So you had the title of Adaku's paper, the first one.
The first one from the title.
No, that one is the one I sent. It's not that one.
Hello.
Yes. Just hold on the line. Hold on the way. Oh, there you are. Thank you. So the title of Adaku's paper, our presentation is "Let me burst your bubble. Face-stealing and face-threatening acts in non-reliance the Hunt Game Show." Non-reliance the Hunt Game Show. Adaku, how many minutes do we give?
Altogether, we have 1 hour 30 minutes.
Okay, 1 hour 30. Please, just go ahead. Let's take about the usual 20 minutes. Let's take the usual 20 minutes. You have 20 minutes. Thank you.
20 minutes.
20 minutes. 20 minutes. We're just
Okay.
Good. We'll use 30 minutes for discussion.
All right. Okay.
The time starts now.
Yes, sir. I am Adaku Chinenye, as has been introduced. So I'm looking at the title. Let me bust your bubbles. Your bubble, examining face-threatening, face-saving, and face-threatening acts in Nonce Mirage, the Hunt Game Show. Okay. Now we are looking at a face act. What is face? How does it feature in a dating reality show? For example, Nonce Mirage's dating reality show called the Hunt Game Show. Okay, that's what I'm looking at, and the sociocultural implications and expectations that could feature in such a game show. All right. Now, that's about the introduction. Now, what is face? For Goffman, face relates to the positive social value that humans like to maintain in an interaction, in a social interaction. All right. And Brown and Levinson looks at face as the public self-image that somebody claims to present or to represent. For instance, if I am trying to let you know that I am a teacher, I have a face, the face of a teacher that I am presenting as a public image that somebody says, okay, this is a teacher, she speaks like a teacher, or this is a lawyer, he speaks like a lawyer, or something like that. That is self-image. And so when we are looking at face and self-imaging in dating reality show, we are looking at this public image that participants in dating reality show present to fellow participants or their partners In this case, a blind date. In this case, it is a blind date. Okay, and the Hunt Game Show, we find out that people gather together to present different kinds of faces in a blind game, in a blind date, in order to either attract the person they are attracted to or to ward off people they are not attracted to. Okay, now let's look at face-saving acts and face-threatening acts. We are looking at here a sociocultural, the face-saving and face-threatening acts as sociocultural strategies in dating reality show. Face-saving here is the self-image that one portrays in order to protect the person's image. In order to protect the person's image. Now, face saving could be in two aspects: to protect your own image or to protect your partner's image, the person you are interacting with. Now, there is face threatening act. Face threatening acts could be the way the listener sees it and the way the speaker presents it. Okay, now in face-threatening acts, they are those things or the non-verbal and verbal activities that could be that are involved in an interaction. Okay, in an interactive event where a listener feels that his public image is being damaged by what the person speaking to him says or by what the person speaking to him does. Okay, so in DROS, that is dating reality shows. In dating reality shows, which are shows, as I have explained, that are put together to match people that want to have love relationships, okay, together, and it is a blind date in this case. In this dating reality show, some people come with their own face. And when they come, they make introductions of themselves. I am a musician, I am a hair vendor, I am a nail tech, I am a cook, I am a chef. So they present themselves that way. That is their projection. Now, when somebody is trying to ask questions, negative questions about someone being a musician, you say you're a musician and this is how your voice looks like. It is a face-threatening act. And so in that activity, we find people calling up their sociocultural background, their sociocultural backings in order to make these presentations. Okay, you are from this place, you are trained up by so and so person, and so in coming to look for love, you make such presentations. There is this other cultural backgrounds where people bring out, this is who I am, this is our people. We don't back down. For instance, we find situations where people can interact, and this is an Igbo person. The other one is probably Urobo person. And then the Igbo girl comes like, okay, in Igbo culture, we don't bow to anyone, we don't do that. She's coming with her sociocultural background to DROS. And so she presents it as her own face. And then she tries to save that face for herself. And anyone that tries to attack such face, she comes again with another sociocultural background to target or to rephrase or to remove that, to attack the face threats to her face. So in FSA and FTA as a sociocultural strategy. Hello?
Yeah, we're here. We can hear you.
Okay. As a sociocultural strategy, we find people presenting what they do or who they are. Now we have in this DRS, most times the male participants present themselves as responsible suitors, independent lovers, people that are capable to handle a and sustain it financially. And then we find the female participants also presenting their financially independent phase as people that could handle their own things normally, and then they are capable of grooming a relationship. That is the love thing they present apart from their social background. Now, on a normal case, we have social-cultural, or I wouldn't even call it a social-cultural kind of strategy, because it is a rule in this reality show that there is a point where people pop their balloons. And to see somebody and look somebody from head to toe and just pop your balloon and say, okay, the popping of balloon alone means I really don't have love interest in this person from the look of the person's appearance. So the popping of the balloon and then the blatant rejection of the person is a face-threatening act. And some people make these acts face-threatening or face-saving depending on their social-cultural background. Some could be soft about it and some don't even care about it. Okay, so other people, instead of a face-saving act, we could find something like holding on to the balloon as a face-saving act. You tell yourself, okay, I'm not going to judge this person by the physical appearance. Let me see what the person has to say. Some people do so when there is an interaction through apologies, acceptance, and then finding a match. Then we have the social-cultural, idiocultural, and personal identity demands in dating reality show. In dating reality show, there is a gathering of people, and these people are not from the same family background. They are not from the same social-cultural background. So there is a demand. There is a demand from their social-cultural background, from their idiocultural background, and from their own personal identity. So here we say that DRS embodies multiculturality. Multiculturality coming from the individual differences, from the idiocultural differences, and from the social-cultural differences. So all these things come together to make demands on interactions that are visible in the dating reality show. Okay, so here we have a projection of cultural phase, social-cultural phase by interactants that makes huge demands on the structure of that DRS. Each DRS have their own structure. For this particular DRS understudy, it has its own culture, and it is something that is monitored or monitored, let me put it that way. Okay, so it has its own cultural context. But now, because there are individuals that come from different cultural backgrounds, they begin to tilt the cultural context of this DRS such that the DRS absorbs their own culture and then projects it to the audience. Okay, we have here the Hunt Game Show. I put it in short, THGS, the Hunt Game Show, as a dating reality show. Having said so much about dating reality show, we know that in dating reality show now, there are some shows that are scripted in such a way that the participants have to act on it. Okay, and there are some that are unscripted. The Hunt Game Show is an unscripted dating reality show, and it takes more of 98% ordinary real people that do not have it. So the other 2% could be for celebrities. Now, the concentration of this paper is on that part of the ordinary people that don't have any fan base. Okay, so in this aspect, we have DRS as an unscripted reality show. The Hunt Game Show is an unscripted reality show. So here, it shows a kind of presentations or performances that is designed to engage, entertain, or to inform the audience. Okay, now here, this one is featured live. After it has been featured live, it is it is kept on the database of non-Mirage, where somebody goes on to the YouTube channels to get it downloaded or to get it work on it. I have said that it is unscripted, and now DRS2 is something that is done on online social media. So the Hunt Game Show is done on an online social media. And for these properties that the Hunt Game Show possesses, it qualifies as a dating reality show, okay, because it possesses the properties of a reality show, and it revolves around matchmaking and dating, and performed on YouTube, which is an online social media channel. Okay, here looking at the Hunt Game Show, deconstructing the sociocultural expectations in heterogeneous love interaction. In the Hunt Game Show, there is a bringing together of men and women who are seeking for love interaction, or to have a kind of love relationship. And so, because it is a mixture of male and female, we call it heterogeneous love interaction. So here, the Hunt Game Show is a kind of DRS that is projected or presented to deconstruct the sociocultural expectations. One of them here is that of heterogeneous relationship. In heterogeneous relationships, we find out that it is usually expected that the male heads the relationship, or the male heads the relationship, yes, and that the female supports this male that is heading the relationship. Now, when we get to the Hunt Game Show, we find out that there are women who have presented themselves as having headed relationships before, and are in the Hunt Game Show, so that they'll find someone that will do the heading of the relationship and not they. But then they still present themselves as financially independent, not needing the financial help of the man. So in this situation, there is a deconstruction of the fact that it is only the male that could head a relationship. The women here also present like they can head a relationship and not just only support. And then there is a manifestation of cultural expectations, like I said in the Hunt Game Show. These expectations of, okay, the man being the head of the family, let me put it that way, and then in a love relationship, it is also expected that the man be the head of the family. But you find out that there are some people that come for this show and tell you, okay, I really don't mind being the one spending, as far as you have something to do, as far as you are able to sustain yourself, and then this relationship without involving or something like that. So there is a deconstruction of the social expectation. Okay, the man will always be the head and then the woman follows. No, here the women also present themselves like, I am financially independent, and so you can't just be the head like that. Now we look at the application of politeness strategies to the analysis of face-saving and face-threatening acts in Non-Mirage, the Hunt Game Show. Okay, looking at the pictures here, I am supposed to have made a presentation, a video presentation, but the video presentation wasn't able to get into the slide. So it would have been easier to play the video so that you all would hear what they have to say to themselves. And then while I explain it, you would understand it from my angle. But now we have, let's look at politeness strategies first. In politeness strategy, we have bad on record, we have negative, we have positive politeness strategy. But this paper is concentrating on the negative and positive politeness strategies, and is looking at it as it resonates with the negative and the positive face-saving and face-threatening acts. So that's the way the paper is projecting this. So where we have negative politeness, we have positive face-threatening positive face-saving act, where we have negative politeness, we have negative face-saving act and face-threatening acts. So we have these two men here. In this show, as it is, there is an array of 10 female lined up with their balloons. And this female line up with their balloons with the hope of popping the balloon in the first 60 seconds of citing the revealed single. The revealed single could be male or female. That is, it is male, the revealed single is male when we have female participants lined up with their balloons. But when we have male participants lined up with their balloons, the revealed singles are female. So in this situation, we have female participants that are on blind dates lined up with their balloons. And then we have the revealed singles. For the sake of time, I just want to make use of the interactions of two revealed singles.
No, Adam, you have 3 minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, the interactions between these revealed males and the ladies. Now, when they come in first, when the revealed males come in first, they call them revealed single male. When they walk into the arena, they are sized up, or they are viewed, or they are assessed based on their physical appearance. So in the first 60 minutes, the balloons of these ladies are popped. They pop their balloons by themselves to say, and that's the first face-threatening act to the face of that male that have come to find love, that I don't have a love interest in you based on your physical appearance. That's the first one. And then when they enter, they begin to make interactions. There are other face-saving or face-threatening acts that begin to manifest. The first person here is Ayo. He is 26 years old. The second person here is Canis. He is 27 years old. He had interactions with the female. Now, from the female arrays, the first picture, he had interaction with the first lady still holding her balloon, the second lady that is wearing blue, and then the last lady on the first picture. And then the second picture, he had an interaction, or they had an interaction with the second lady in white, the other lady still hanging her black bag with black trouser, and then this other lady, 6 of them. So they made interactions with these people. Now, during this interaction, we find somebody like Eniola. Eniola is one of the ladies there. In that case, Eniola was asked, okay, why did you pop your balloon? Because she popped her balloon. The host asked, why did you pop your balloon? Eniola says, actually, he's not looking bad, but he is short. First threatening act. Okay, that's talking about Ayo. And then she continues with, I like my guy. So still making emphasis on the fact that the guy, the Ayo is short. So this is a kind of face-threatening act. But now when we got to this other person, the lady still holding her balloon, that lady holding her balloon was holding her balloon. Yes, was holding her balloon for Canis. That action of holding your balloon is a face-saving act. And then after Canis has finished speaking, there are still other ladies that went ahead to retrieve their balloon. The action of retrieving the balloon is another face-saving act. So we see in this situation that in a non-Mirage the Hunt Game show, there could be projections of face-saving and face-threatening acts, which have sociocultural backings in their presentations. These are the references, and thank you.
Thank you very much. That was quite revealing. You know, would have done very well with some kind of video. If your video worked,
yes. Yes.
You know,
yes.
You should have found a way of just simply incorporating the video. Speaking without the data is quite complex. It makes you understand it becomes really complex, but it's good. So I would suggest that the audience definitely put down your questions and well, we have the other two presentations that can have a full panel discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
For
Thank you.
that this was your bubble from saving.
Examining face saving and face threatening acts. Yes, sir.
In non-benign
Sure.
Thank you very much. So we go on to tradition versus technology. Another interesting paper with the beautiful title, tradition versus technology. Safety and security issues in digital dating and matchmaking. This is by Silva Peniel Lando from the University of Calabar. Silva, you're welcome to start.
Thank you very much for the comments. My name is Silva Peniel, Department of Educational Communications, Guidance, and Spirit of Calabar. And here I'm talking about the topic tradition versus technology. Safety and security issues in digital dating and matchmaking. The main purpose of this topic is to investigate how traditional matchmaking has been evolving in recent times compared to how traditional matchmaking has been evolving in recent times technology. Now, our case study for this particular case study, we are using Mirage for the balloon show on YouTube. That is, YouTube is our data. That's the only place we are gathering data for. We have different channels, but we are using YouTube for this particular case. And the theory applied for this study is social exchange theory by George C. Romans. This is analyzing how participants evaluate potential partners based on a perceived balance of reward. And what's the case in exchange? In conclusion, the ultimate role of matchmaking is to find love or to build a long-lasting relationship. Now we are looking at keywords: traditional matchmaking, technology in matchmaking, safety and security issues in matchmaking, digital dating. Again, we are centering it on Nigeria. Nigeria is our case study. So we're looking at matchmaking shows in Nigeria with peculiarity to Mirage of the balloon show on YouTube. Traditional matchmaking is perceived as valuable and oldest form of matchmaking. Rituals, symbolism, and community involvement includes prayer, blessings, formal fees, whereas in technology, in matchmaking, or we're using technology in matchmaking, we look at outward appearance, we look at the physical shape, we look at the dressing, we look at words of affirmation and all that. The conclusion: traditional matchmaking may appear outdated in some other contexts. It continues to thrive in many communities due to its emphasis on long-term compatibility, family involvement, and shared values. Then we have the role of technology in matchmaking, which is, as said earlier, defined classically. Advantages of matchmaking. Marriages arranged, which is matchmaking, traditional matchmaking. Before now, between 1920s to up to 2000, we look at traditional matchmaking as arranged marriage, whereby we consider religion, culture, socio-economic status, and family values. Repeating the value of long-term stability, according to AI Sherif 2016. Now, this helps the couple to mitigate challenges, everyday challenges in marriage. That's what traditional, that's one advantage of traditional matchmaking. Now, the advantage and disadvantage of matchmaking shows in Nigeria as regards to Mirage Pop Balloon Show on YouTube. Now, we look at the convenience of digital dating. It cannot be overemphasized or stated Individuals can engage in conversations and build connections at their own pace and content, which is especially advantageous for those who busy schedules, especially in our generation. That is what digital matchmaking has made for us. Now, in digital matchmaking, we now look at the apps involved in digital matchmaking. We are looking at Tinder, we are looking at Badoo, we look at international dating apps and others. But for today, we are going to track it down to matchmaking shows in Nigeria. So the perception of online matchmaking shows in Nigeria. What are Nigerians thinking about online matchmaking shows? Matchmaking shows and dating apps are perceived different by Nigerians because of its cultural beliefs. Our people have been groomed to grow from culture. You know, for example, we don't see meeting someone online as something that brings everlasting joy. We are used to facial interaction before we extend to going online. Even when people meet online, they still want to see physically. In Nigeria, not like in other countries where they could meet online and by tomorrow they're getting married. But our culture in Nigeria has made us not to really believe on that. Now, these are the perception of Nigeria. The perception varies significantly across urban and rural. Right. Now, if people that stay in the rural areas, in the urban areas, they are getting along with things gradually, even as it's happening in Nigeria. This is not safe for the people in the rural areas of Nigeria. Now, digital dating platforms connect potential lovers and promote relationship goals. The security issues surrounding dating in this modern era and dating apps are privacy concerns, physical safety, and psychological safety. Participants frequently share intimate details of their lives, often aware of the long-time digital footprint this raise and very and furthermore, reality TV productions collect exclusive data during passing and payment processing, posing risks of unauthorized use of data. For example, when we go on reality TV show, as I will show in the picture, you see that the first thing they're asking you is, what is your name? Where do you live? What do you do? Like the North Mirror joke show in one of the episodes, after the exchange of questions, the first thing the guy is asking her is, where did you live? Especially what is your name? Is the answer. Now, these things can pose as safety and security concerns when it comes to online matchmaking shows in Nigeria. And as we know, in Nigeria, because our security system is not that tight, and then exposing your information during matchmaking shows can pose as safety issues surrounding matchmaking shows in Nigeria. Now, the method for data collection is 5 YouTube video clips that highlight scenes from Pop Balloon Show by Masmira, selected for analysis. The official page for Masmira Show, which is a personal page, has from over 450,000, over 800,000 followers. And in each of these videos, she has viewers numbering from 450K and up to 2.2 million people viewing. It depends on which episode it is. And for all these, we are using 3 episodes. We are using episode 1, the pop the least attractive persons balloon or find a match to demand. This show was done on July 2023. For episode 2, pop the least attractive persons balloon or find a match to a woman. Episode 9, pop the balloon to find the least attractive guys on not Miran pop the balloon show, which recently named as Hunt's Day Show. This one was on September 2023, that brings 4.1 million. Then what I look at the disadvantages of matchmaking shows, which have security issues, bullying, and also. Now, on episode 1, July 2023, in phase 1, the guest lover, Job 1, was emphasizing the show of a potential lover who is a student. This is to show that fear of dressing highly. This explains participants come with high expectations of matchmaking. They focus on physical appearance, personal interest, and body image. Meanwhile, this is not what happens normally on traditional matchmaking. where in traditional matchmaking, we look at personal interest, we look at career, we look at family background, we look at cultural value. If somebody wants to matchmake two people, normally it's either a friend, a relative, a family member, or a classmate. And then the person looks at, if this person is a career person, my friend is also a career person. So let me put them together and matchmake them. Where that's not what happens in online matchmaking show, especially amongst the balance show. On image 2, if I start to see addressing the girl as a sex object, sex friend, like addressing her as if she's a sex object. This means that on the comment section, you can see as Priscilla's comments on how bad it is for one of the male participants to ask how much will he pay for sex. Now, this is because of the physical appearance. People come to matchmaking shows, they want to find love, but sometimes it is time kind of desperate, and that's why our culture does not really believe on matchmaking. This is the perception of Nigerian on matchmaking shows. Then advantages of, and then of course we have the advantages of the balloon show by Mr. That's on episode 2. For the least and 10 for the least attractive persons balloon offering a match with a woman. This is the men segments. Now the participants, Regina, the Instagram handle as Regina Kids27 on Instagram, and you found love on this particular show. And the person she found love with his name is Fred Ike, aka with Instagram handle Omoba of Lagos. They both agree that they found themselves attractive. Now, why did she find him attractive? Why did that men get talks for the show, rating her low, her dressing, her shoes, and all that? He stood up for that, ended her. And then she felt that this is the only person that, on this particular show, she liked him. Depended her, and that was how we match made. And Dr. asked the both of them, and they agreed. Now, look at Jeremy's comment, supporting this particular episode. Jeremy said, on the positive impact of this show, this is what the technology, tech making shows do. Technically, also short for technology, unlike traditional making, where parents or family members have a knowledge of attending platform. In matchmaking shows, people get access the intelligence level of partners before choosing. Now, in the traditional way of matchmaking, most times this other person will not really have an in-depth knowledge of the other person. He only knows that this lady, maybe even in the information, she's a directress, yes. She's a graduate, yes. She's beautiful, yes. You would like her. But he does not have an in-depth knowledge, in-depth exposure to know what's in matchmaking shows. This is how they're taught. You see this person. Of course, it's show at the point it comes first, and so the person shows on his or her character. And this is why all of Lagos on Instagram showed Regina Kids27 and both found love on this particular show. If you look through the picture, you will see where it's thinking of the good. That thinking of good means they have been much needs. So matchmakers, we look at also in the technology part, we look at how matchmakers instigate quarrels to gain views. Now we have we investigated the show very well. We noticed that sometimes, especially in the Nigerian context, matchmakers want to use the show to gain more views on YouTube. So what do? Some of them they instigate that quarrel. So you could see in one of the pictures, Nasmira was asking the guy, this is all you have to say. And the guy said that, oh, okay, I really can very well. So these things are things of influencing this stuff. And of course, this makes the show more possible. And in Nigeria, where the more viral, the more better. So if it is viral, for example, we have the Lady Miami show, which is very successful on Instagram. Now, we did use that currently because the Nosmira Pop the Balloon show is what is trending. I think it's everywhere. Recently, she used over 200 million to invest on the show, of which she don't need to buy episode just last week. Now, this is because she knows that it goes viral to make more money. Mega Miami is not too viral because why? It is not too popular, or even if it's popular, it doesn't get that much views because the show doesn't know that's viral. There's no toxicity on the show. Okay, so really safety and security. It really concludes on the particular theory and after the show episode 9, with 1.2 million views September 23, Afghan Day, the comment, we see explaining to the ladies that may not find love outside. Now, this is also because of security and safety issues. People come to matchmaking shows, they express themselves. After expressing themselves, they kind of, this one is insulting, this one, I don't like your clothes. Why are you dressed this way? At the end of the day, the whole world has seen you, and it is really hard. Sometimes it makes it hard for these participants to find love after the show. So this is also the psychological part that we look at. We look at the fact that the show, the matchmakers don't even take care of, the matchmakers don't take care of that sense of the psychological part of these participants. Okay, then that's the reference. Thank you very much. At the end of the day, matchmaking in Nigeria, matchmaking shows in Nigeria compared to traditional way of matchmaking in Nigeria would be good, but this paper is still ongoing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. We build up on the other one. And we also hear some things suggesting that what we might be having these shows are actually performances. Yes, because the first speaker talks of scripted and unscripted. And of course, you spoke about what they do. But this is interesting. And we now see what it needs to be matchmade a traditional way or to matchmade technology. I'm wondering if this is not changing the whole concept of law. Yeah, digitally mediated law, I suppose what we know as law. Thank you very much for the presentation. So we now go on to Anne, who is giving us finding love in the digital age, Nigerian youth and the digital matchmaking revolution. Anne is from Pan Atlantic University here in
It's not true. It's not true. No. Okay. Morning, everyone. Slot media Asia. And today I'm speaking to us while the paper and rights on this title, Finding Love. So Nigerian youth and digital matchmaking. Next slide. So this is my outline. I will introduce this paper, tell you a bit about the background of what's all about, talk about the problem identified. I will give you the objectives. Then a brief review of literature, what it's saying. I'll talk about the theoretical opinions. Then I'll tell you about the methodology, a bit about the findings and conclusion and issues. Now, unfortunately, I don't have to receive that, which would really have enhanced this presentation. But a few of us have watched the shows on YouTube. I'm talking about the master issues, my flagshots, but I'll try as much as possible to describe some of what's the show. This next time. Okay, so before 19th century, traditional matchmaking was done how? Literal how?
the baby is born, and already we found husband or wife for that baby. Family ties. Oh, we are very close family friends. My son has married your daughter, your daughter has married my son, political things, and some other reasons. Communities, community issues. A lot of people wants to solidify territories, with another kingdom. I said, no, we have to marry the daughter of that king for our son and all of that, and strengthen our ties around this area, the security exists. And the religious networks. The pastor, your imam, the beautiful lady, the choir, ushering department. This man, to be a very good family, a very good man for this lady, a spiritual father. I know, I've seen them, I've watched them growing up. I've probably dedicated them to the church and all of that. So I know this will be a good match because I know this family and I know the other family. So this was face to face. People would see each other. They see their parents, they speak to each other, they get that physical connection. Now, what happened after the 19th century? We had the internet. So the internet came and completely disrupted the whole dating path. So there was a digital disruption. And we had online dating paths. Specifically, during the COVID-19 pandemic, when there was lockdown, people could not go anywhere. Right? So we couldn't meet people physically. Dating apps were really trending there. Tinders and the dollars, all of that. So people were meeting each other online. And sometimes you use your face, sometimes you use an avatar, so you don't know the other person on the other end of the screen. And a lot of things went wrong. There are things like cyberbullying, things like catfishing, false identities. Then recently, recently, we now have online matchmaking shows. And this makes the online dating experience rich for them because now you see the old man in front of them, and you can make an in front of them. So next slide, please. So what's the problem like this? Fine. In Nigeria here, our youth face a lot of societal pressures to get married. Once you're between the age of 24 and 35, your parents, your family members, your church members, your boss members, they are holding you to get married. And not so for the ladies actually. So there's a lot of societal pressure. And recently, because of the digital space we are in and the mobile revolution, a lot of people are always online, they resorted to different strategies for finding them. So they use the dating apps I've mentioned, and of course the online matchmaking shows. However, there's a problem. What's the genuinity of relationships for? What's the authenticity? What's the long-term viability of relationships? How sustainable are these relationships that are formed online? Please, the next slide. So what are the objectives I have with number one? I want to explore how these online matchmaking shows are facilitating dating and romantic relationships amongst our Nigerian youth. I also want to assess the concerns our Nigerian youth have when they are using this platform. I want to ascertain how sustainable the romantic relationships that are formed are through this platform to Nigerian youth. So, of course, my research question to me, how are the online matchmaking shows facilitating dating and romantic relationships? What are the concerns of Nigerian youths in their quest to find love on these online matchmaking shows? How sustainable are these romantic relationships? How authentic are these romantic relationships that are formed through online matchmaking shows? Next slide, please. So, a bit of literature, dating, yes, the process of finding a casual long-term partner. Literature says that people date sometimes for months, sometimes out of boredom. Sometimes people date, for social reasons, they want to stop themselves in the social class. And I also talked about the fact that it was popular during the pandemic. But a lot of false identities, catfishing, cyberbullying. Then the matchmaking reality shows came. Don't be rash. Literature says that she was the first to come up with this popular online dating show. In 2023, we have Megan Yari that's talks about. It's not on Instagram. They are not mirage, a bit more popular because it's more visual. It's not visual in terms of you actually see the full length of participants compared to using various kinds of sound, visuals, and all of that. And another thing I observed was the dressing of both the hosts and participants. Very revealing, and we know that in this part, well, not in this part, but in the world now, sex sells, community sells. So you find out that there are a lot of engagements on those shows, a lot of views on those shows as well. Further versions, Alex Amodi Uche in Arizona, Florida, we also have Pop Balloon, Mexico, Balloon version in the US, in Canada, in the UK. There's even one other version in Nigeria. It's called Finding Love in the Bible. It's by a Yoruba man. I think her name is Sumi something. Yes, thank you. And it's done totally in the Yoruba language. So the entire conversation, everything in various versions of this. Now, why am I concentrating on non-bad? Online matchmaking shows have been talked about, the picture about the out there. However, what's being written is concentrating more on the Western world. So we have a lot of literature on the Bachelor. It's actually a TV show, dating show, Bachelor. The female version of the Bachelorette. There's another one, Long Island. The Bachelor is US based. So I want Long Island, which is UK based. Kind of writing about those. But we don't have papers that are focusing on African matchmaking shows. So let's tell the world that things are happening here, and let's tell them exactly what's going on there. This next slide. Okay, so the theories I'm using, symbolic interaction, is it? It's a theory that was proposed by the US sociologist Lola in 1969. What does it say? It says that individuals with a social group, they create a shared meaning. That's communication. By their interactions, their actions, and their response. And we don't you see these interactions going on between the host and participants, you see that interaction going on. You see responses real time online from the viewers, making comments based on what they've seen on the show. And this all ties into an experience for everyone. And I'm going to use a communication theory, use it like classification theory, the host by Elizabeth Loma in 1974. It just says that people use media in a way that gives them instant gratification for whatever media that they choose. So people will select media and engage in media consumption for their own personal gratification or satisfaction. So that's how people are selected to engage with the non-spirit show for entertainment, for fun, for humor, and sometimes too for knowledge, for those who want to go into relationships, they want to know what's out there, they want to know how they should present themselves, how they should act out there. Thank you. Next slide. So my methodology, I'm using a qualitative methodology. It's a case study of the non-spirit game show. I'm using visual ethnography as my data collection method. So I'm watching the show and I'm making observations of what I watched. And the sample, I purposefully selected 2 episodes of North Mirage online matchmaking show. One of them aired, 2 of them aired in May 2024. And one of them is episode 10, and it's about Bob Balloon to be Jen Lewis and Practicing Guy. Then episode 16, Bob Balloon to Jen Lewis and Practicing and maybe on the show. First one has 1 million views, second one has 2 million views. Comments, very huge. One of them has 4,304 comments, the other has 3,906 comments on those shows, showing a lot of interaction on them. I also used 3 episodes of the Million Show. So what she has done is that she has done a show that calls back the people who were selected on the shows, brought them and had conversations with them to know how the relationships are going on. So please, next slide. I've used content analysis to analyze this data. So what this shows, I have taken down notes. They found I have coded data use data from what I have observed. I have categorized data, and then I've written a narrative report using paragraphs as well to depict my findings. And I've also done that for comments section. So I've downloaded all the comments, huge data, also trying to code this and categorize and add to my narrative report. So what I watched on the shows, I corroborate what my findings are with what's written in the comments to come up with a holistic narrative of what the experience is being at that show and watching it. So what are my findings? The first video, there were 2 matches and there were 3 evictions. When it says eviction, it means the person was not selected. So what happens? Participant calls. We have people lining up. It's a man who wants to get a lift. They are lining up and they have balloons. And once the comes in, they don't like me, they call balloon, showing that if I go with this person, this relationship will scatter. Maybe the balloon has scattered. And if I keep the balloon low, I want to go this relationship intact. Second video for women, there were 3 matches, so 3 matches and 2 evictions. Interestingly, the union show, of the 3 union shows, and each of them to have 8 couples, okay? Only one of the couples was still together. And the union shows, the first one was so loud, extremely loud. I mean, so many complaints, comments, and all of that. Nobody was satisfied with what had happened. Relationship. The second one, the same thing. The third one, it was the same part. Some people did not even bother to come with their partner. Sure that they had been separated a long time ago. The only one that tried to still be together, they were almost going to break it off. Then Godfrey offered them and said, hey, how about I give you maybe a night stay in the room, free lunch, free dinner, we'll stay together, talk with they accepted. They accepted to stay together. So what did I find? A lot of hate speech, a lot of insults, body shaming. People calling this one short, some fat, somebody other, and all sorts of, very open insults, objectification. They'll tell the lady spin around, I want to see your 360, So it was basically matches being made based on personal appearance. If you know appearance, that was the only way they would match. And then attractiveness, I want to behavior. And very little like practice of cultural activities. It wasn't an issue for them. They just wanted to look at the physical appearance and they made that decision. Genotype, however, is key and it could be a breaker. So it was a good alignment with our traditional matchmaking. Please, the next slide. So to conclude, I found out that Nigerian youths are actually finding, fulfilling their desire for love and their romantic relationships through these shows. However, their challenges they face of hate speech, body shaming, and all of that, which I have mentioned. And the issue of sustainability is a very big question. How sustainable? They couldn't sustain this relationship. Like when we have traditional matchmaking, we have mediators, we have parents, we have your church members, we have your pastor, your imam, and all of that who come in when there's an issue and try to diffuse tension. But these ones, they don't have that. Okay? So I'm recommending that content creators and the host of these online matchmaking now and future, they should emphasize promoting authenticity, ethical interactions, mutual respect for participants on the show, and especially preservation of the human. Thank you very much.
It's very interesting. Can we return to our participants in good, thank you. I think that this session has been quite interesting. I see, before I just conclude the floor, I just see the way that what we have discussed so far shows precisely how dating apps are incentivizing cultural change with the aid of technology, and the way that technology is projecting appearance. People begin to see all the implications for the slides. So, very interesting. They say pop the balloon. Yes, so how significant, especially from your symbolic interaction point of view, does pop the balloons just simply signify the kind of ephemerality of this whole situation? And then all three presenters emphasize the word show. Yes. Does they simply show us that the whole affair is a performance, you know? And in this country, of course, not many of you talked about the socio-cultural context of this show. In this country, there is a tendency for performances to move on to becoming actual situations. You know, we hear about ritual killing and all of that. To one extent, the Nollywood thing influence what is now becoming reality. These are some of the things that we can engage with. Because you now have a situation where it's becoming possible for content creators and all the others to just simply influence cultural change, especially the new urban cultures emerging. So I leave the floor open now, you know, without necessarily dictating what we should engage with. You know, I leave the floor open, and I can see one hand up there. That is the convener of this panel. Maybe we should let her speak first before we throw the floor open. Yes, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk now before we are kicked out. I think by 12:30, this panel is expected to close.
Yes.
And if we don't talk now,
Yeah.
we all participants won't be allowed to talk again. So thank you very much. It's nice to see everybody online. I am sorry, I would have loved to see every other person physically, but it's all for good. Very interesting conversations so far, and it's actually the work of God that the three presenters today also picked the same the same the same archive. They all went to North Mirai's YouTube archive for their presentation. So it's actually quite nice. And for some of the questions that I had when I was listening to the first presenter, somehow the second presenter was able to answer it, and it happened again that by the time the second presenter was also presenting, somehow the third presenter also came up to answer something that I was ruminating on. So it's actually a very good way of coming into conversation somehow, one way or the other. So thank you very much for those very insightful presentations. Somehow I think that the framing of blind date that came up with the first presenter there might be a need to tease it out a little bit, because I think that for these individuals to be able to come on for a show, for a program, it is no longer a blind date to a particular extent they can see themselves. So I think she might need to work on that by the time she's framing our discussions, maybe in the introduction. And actually, for every other thing I am saying, I know that you understand that I'm coming from the aspect of the fact that we are proposing a special volume for this panel, and which has been already accepted. And so that if we are going to send out this work for publication, I think we have to make them more our postulations should be stronger than they are presently. So
all right. While she prepares to come up again, I think we leave the floor for now. As soon as she tells us now which go ahead. Thank you very much. The floor is open for questions. Let us do happen only for
the network. Should I pick it again?
Yes.
Yeah. So that I was talking about the framing of unscripted reality show when we were talking about Nose Mirage. And I said that from my own understanding, I don't think that she charges her participants to come online. She doesn't expect them to pay anything before they come for her show. So she's basically dependent on the views that she gets from YouTube for her financial gratification. So that if that is the case, I don't think that our show is unscripted. It will be highly scripted, especially for her to get a participant to come online. And I think Ms. Silva mentioned something along that line when she talked about the originality of the show. And I think from the comment section that it seems that Nurse Mirage is very intentional by picking our participants to see those ones who could abuse themselves very well before they come online, come for our show. So that if that is the case, I think Dr. Others talk about promotion of authenticity also come in when we're talking about these acts. How authentic can these shows really be, especially when the broker and the influencer is planning and leveraging on the financial gratification of our show, for the commercialization of that show. So I think that that is all for that, especially now that my baby would not allow me to continue to talk. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I hope you're listening. Yeah. All right, so we're going to do that.
That's I think we don't know the efficiency of this.
Can you solve here? Yes, can you come here?
Just like we were doing some computer and so it's been however, my main concern was addressed by the first speaker, that the authenticity and the long term effect of research. And she stated as part of our objective paradox. That's I just was one find it. She will establish what's the finding as shown. How long durable? What's the process? What is the what do you call it? How many of them ended in marriage? What of them are perform the voice barrier of saying first of all, then the boss guy comes and look at him, you know what match my level, one is that's questions. What do you do for a living? How much do you account? That's just like that. And then if such should proceed to marriage, then go we are daddies and mommies and then we know what such marriage will turn out to be on the long run. So that's my major concern. When the second guy was talking, I was expected to hear that maybe from the findings there is a still number of such relationship has ended in after marriage. Okay, she came back with a lot of million, and I think that was true. That was part of them, and maybe one of them is against one of them is still standing. So what is the validity of such relationship built on such business? And then I want to pass this. She started the last class started from the angle of the traditional mode of matchmaking. Can we see there is a nexus between this contemporary matchmaking? Does it have the same effect it had in the previous line? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I hope you're
sorry to ask again. How do they get participants for this show?
That is crucial. Yeah, that's the yes, it's fine.
So I might be the only one in the room who actually hasn't seen this show, but I promise you I'll watch the
I haven't seen it either. I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, it's such an exciting opportunity to see three different perspectives on the same material and the power of different theoretical frameworks to draw out different aspects of this program. One thing I'm stuck on, and again, I haven't seen it, is it seems like all three papers are taking these shows at their word, that their goal is matchmaking, and they're drawing on traditional matchmaking, and it just seems like the wrong way to understand what's going on. Like you were criticizing in your paper, some of the techniques are actually about going viral. Of course, they're about going viral. So I think this, like you mentioned in your comments, the chair that that it was about show, and I think it actually needs to be more. The analysis needs to be more about the performance and the play and the fun. Because I don't think those million viewers or thousands of commenters are actually, every one of them is there to see real love, expecting merit. That's not the delight that people find in this. We're talking in your paper, I love the reference to the gratification that people get in seeing media. And I guess I need to be persuaded more that the gratification they're seeing in these matchmaking programs has anything to do with traditional matchmaking to start. It seems to me much more about a dating model, and even more than that, much more about dating shows, which have a long history in media as a kind of artificial competition with these kind of structures that are meant to provoke sexism, body shaming, all like that is the point of the show. It's not a failure of the show. That is the tradition of these shows. So I guess I'm just inviting, does it shift the analysis at all to, instead of taking the producers at their word, like, oh, this is about real love, I think, how does it shift the framing if we understand this as a different kind of project altogether? I think the moral critiques of these shows, they're welcome, but they don't capture what people are enjoying when they're watching, the virality, the popularity of the shows. So can we better understand what the shows are doing if we set aside their failures to make marriage, which seems beside the point.
Good. Thank you very much. That's a wonderful comment there. Just simply reinforces the earlier that
So I just want to try to tell our presentation. I think if you guys can figure out where the continuity and discussing with this particular paper will really make a lot of sense. Like where you bring out the loading days of matchmaking and this new era that you're working. Let's see what are the differences, what are the things that are common, what are the things that are not seen over loading days, what are the things that we are seeing presently. So that comparison should not emphasize. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Otunke Akande. How am I concerned about all these shows? I've watched them. I noticed that most of people that come to that show, when you look at their age, 20, 19, 17, they are young. So what's the gap for them to say they want to come on that show? We are saying matchmaking. You know that in those days when you want to matchmake, sister, people are getting older, maybe they have more ailments, maybe they are disabled, or looking at, okay, let me just find this a mate, maybe the parent, spouse will find mates for that. But this shows, I realize that most of them they are young. So I don't think it's actually for marriage, or probably in your finance, just try and get more. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you very much. Is it visible? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. What I just found intriguing is the environmental management issue of base of validation. I think that is important in conceptualization of maybe the social-cultural identity of the participants. For example, and even the construction of identity for these participants, and even generally in the society. Because you find out that most of the time, when you look at these shows, the common parts about some of the criteria that they use in choosing whom to date, whom to do this or that, is this issue of the whole physical body structure. Zeal, for pictures. They mentioned maybe, for example, maybe the I don't want to.
We know.
So I think it's important that also the first presenter to deal more with the issue of that face development in relation to the cultural identity and the expectation of the participants in getting into it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, I can see a hand up there. Yes. Abidin or something like that. Please. Just go ahead. If you are online and if you're here with us, just go ahead and ask your question. We don't have much time again. And if you're unable to, technology is failing, just simply print your question, type your question and put it in the comment box, and we'll go with here. Especially if it is directed.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I needed the permission from the host to unmute.
Okay.
Thank you all the panelists for the interesting presentations. It has been a really cogent topic. So more of a contribution or comment and then a request at the end of it. If some of the presenters could consider, because somebody mentioned the aspect of scripting, to the extent to which the shows are scripted. And as I see the shows, I also think of how grooming can be contextualized as a kind of scripting, the kind of grooming that happens live right on the show, either from the kind of prompts the host of the show gives. I've also been studying other platforms besides the ones by Nons Mirage on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And I have an observation of some of the dynamics, for example, contrary to one of the earlier comments, in terms of demography on some other platforms like TikTok, where you see that the age of the women may have an indication to show some kind of social pressure in terms of marriage and then to get matched or hooked up with someone. And also on other platforms, I see the context of immigration, where people are in an environment where they do not have people from their context and they want to get matched with people from that, where this online platform is the only medium. I've also seen contexts where payments are made after the matchmaking is considered either successful or not.
Please round up quickly because we don't have much time. Just,
yeah, so those are the dynamics I'm considering. I've heard you're considering a special volume for this. I'm working on this, and in case anybody is interested in the context and dynamics I've mentioned, I'm open for collaboration to be a part in the special volume to bring in these other aspects I've mentioned.
Thank you very much. So we take your comment as advice. Yes. Thank you. So the question is not directed at a particular event, and so far no question has been directed at just effort to improve on the paper by looking at other features. I think there is one more person online, Abidin something.
Yes, I thought Abidin Amudu wanted to talk. Yes.
Yes, that's it. Yes. We are waiting for Abidin to unmute and just give us his comment.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can hear you.
Okay. I think because we don't have so much time, I'll quickly say this. When we look at the shows like the Nons Mirage show, the Legend Miami show, they are more of fragments of entertainment rather than shows. So because they are fragments, one, and two, they are also productions of entertainment rather than something that has been designed to fulfill something in real life. So because they are just fragments, we cannot fully understand or we cannot fully decipher what happens before and after the show, because we are only, what is available to us is what the show shows us. So to be able to get what happens before and after the show, one might have to extend the tentacles of research to probably interviews with the hosts or some people who have previously participated in the show. And for somebody who commented that, what do the participants gain? The participants gain visibility. How did they gain visibility? Because when you come on the show, you are asked your Instagram username, which is written on the screen. And because you have appeared on the show, and because the show has garnered millions or thousands of views, people get to know your handle. And sometimes participants market what they sell, or like publicize their businesses on the show. So that is what the participants gain, and the host gains owning the entire show. So what I'm saying in essence is that we may not fully understand it because it is fragmented entertainment. So in the long run, we need to like extend our tentacles of research to be able to fully understand what the show is about. Thank you.
You so much. Thank you so much. Happy day. I'm afraid we'll have to draw the panel to a close, but I want to say that this is very, very interesting. It is the first part of the three-part panel, and this has been able to build up some kind of expectation that we will see. And already I hear comments about how this enhances or incentivizes immigration and all that. I think we're going to have all of that in the next two panels that we present. So I invite you again to join us on this other panel that will take place one tomorrow and then the final one on Saturday. But from my notes here, I think that this is an interesting panel, and it's going to produce a very rich volume of cultural change in that we already see in process. Thank you very much for coming to this panel, and to the online people participating. Thank you very much for being there for us, and to Mr. Nanuga, Dr. Nanuga. Thank you for convening this panel. So
thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you. So we'll see you tomorrow again.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
I declare the panel closed. So before time. 2 minutes more. For the next panel. Thank you.